everyone. This is Rebecca Shaffer at Cincinnati Children's again. I hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to talk about play skills, which is one of my most favorite things to work on with kids. So, I'm going to give you some pointers about how to build play skills while your children are at home and some great resources for thinking through different play opportunities while they're at home. So, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that we can get started. All right, here we go. So again, I'm Rebecca Shaffer. I'm the Director of Psychological Services at Cincinnati Fragile X Center, and today we're going to talk about play skills. So what do you want to do when you're working on play skills? I'm going to give you some pointers. So the first thing is that you want to be enthusiastic. So when kids are playing, they're usually excited, they're really into it, they don't care what other people think. And I'm going to encourage you guys to do the same thing. Be really excited when you play with your kids. Jump right into it. It's okay if it's silly and it doesn't make sense. We're just playing and enjoying the time with our children. The second thing is that you want to imitate their play. So we want to make sure we're on the same level as them in their play skills. And if they're flying a plane, then you should fly your plane too. So make sure that you have similar toys to what they have so that you're able to really imitate it. The next thing is that we want to model really good play skills. So I'm going to give you some resources for modeling, but also you can just simply do it in the way that you're playing. So again, you can fly a plane. So let's say they're just rolling the plane. We're going to expand it. So we might roll the plane and then it takes off and it flies through the air so that we're expanding, we're showing them how to play with the toys. You also want to imitate their language throughout. So make sure you're matching them on language. If they're using single words and phrases, you want to use single words and phrases too and just expand it a little bit. But for the most part, you're going to imitate where they're at language wise. You want to provide choices. So let them pick which toys to play with, give them choices of how they want to play with the toys. Do you want to roll the car? Do you want to fly the car? And then we want to follow their lead. So when they make a choice and they're actually playing with it, you should play with it too. You should follow what they're doing. And then again, be enthusiastic. And then what not to do when you're playing and working on play skills. We don't want to criticize. We don't want to correct them and tell them that what they're doing is wrong and that that's not how you're supposed to play with that toy. Obviously, if there's problem behaviors like we talked about last week, we want to manage those behaviors, make sure that we're safe and that nothing is being done that's going to hurt the toys or hurt the child. But beyond safety, we really just want to follow what they're doing and not criticize it. This is a time to that we don't ask questions, so we're not teaching other academic skills within our play. We're just playing and working on building play. You also don't want to give directions. So again, you can model expansions of play, you can model new ways to do it, but you don't want to tell them this is how you're supposed to play with that toy. And then we don't want to expect too much. So again, be at their level. Make sure that, if your child is sorting toys, we don't want to then expand that into a big, huge pretend play scene because that's not where they're at. We want to make sure that we're meeting them where they're at and giving them great play skills in that area. We think about play skills, they're kind of on a continuum. So sensory play is one of those early things. It teaches kids cause and effect. If you think about babies, they do a lot of exploration of toys, both in feeling it, tasting it, visually exploring it. And then we see sorting skills, so putting things in, taking things out, and that builds into more complex types of sorting. Building skills are a big part of play for kids. We're going to talk about how that looks different at each level. And then pretend play is kind of that end point. And pretend play can happen with self, with dolls and figures, with others, and then more complex scenes. We're going to go through each of these. Before I hop into going through each of them, though, I want to talk about modeling just a little bit. So video modeling is a great way to teach play skills, and it's going to be a good resource for you. So I've included several paper-based play scripts. Given it might be hard for you to print things out, Video modeling is a great option, and there's some really good examples of it on YouTube. So I've included several here, but this is just a small example of everything that's available on YouTube. So things like doctor's kits, Mr. Potato Head, the Tea Party, Car Garage, trains, and then even using video modeling for teaching board games. So Connect Four. So as I go through all of these different skills, I want you to think about looking up on YouTube wherever your child lands and finding a video model of how to teach that and using that for your child because they're going to be interested in watching the video. They're going to learn a lot from it, and hopefully they're going to pick up new play skills. All right, so let's talk about some examples for each of these. So sensory-based toys, you might get a big, huge tub of water and soap, and we're going to clean our toys. It's killing two birds with one stone, right? You get to clean all of your toys, make sure they're very clean, but also your child is going to have a great time playing in the water and cleaning the toys. Play-Doh is a great sensory toy, and it can be very simple in terms of I'm just going to pull apart and push. Maybe I'm going to cut with a play knife. That's a favorite in our house. Using cookie cutters in the Play-Doh, smashing it, rolling it up. All of those are great options with Play-Doh. Bubbles are a huge hit for our kids with Fragile X. So I'm going to blow the bubbles and you get to pop them. Then you can try to blow the bubbles and I'll pop them. Sensory bins, so using rice and hiding toys in the rice. You can use just about anything with this though. So beans, sand, anything that you have at your house, you can probably put into a bin and then use it with toys. This is a messy one though. So if you're concerned about that, I would do it outside. Making music with pots and pans or buckets and using what you have to really build those music skills. Finger painting in the bathtub or shower or on paper is also super fun. I included a recipe for a really safe finger paint to use in the bath or shower. And then water beads. I don't know if you guys are familiar with water beads. They're new to me, but they're small beads that you can put in water and they expand. I hear they expand quite a bit though, so make sure you don't do too many. So again, lots of sensory bin ideas as well as bathtub paint. So let's talk about sorting. So this goes through a continuum as well. So just an open box, we're going to put the toys in and then we get to dump them and then we'll put them back in and then we'll dump them. Very, very fun. You can start to expand that just a little bit by putting a lid on the box with a hole and we have to put the toys in the hole. So if you think about piggy banks, they have nice little slots and we're going to put the coins into the piggy bank. And then shape sorters. So this is a great example down here on the bottom. Somebody has taken a shoebox and made a shape sorter out of it. So they're putting the blocks into the shape sorter. And then it expands even more by color, size, and type. So here's all of the green, pink, and blue, and you're going to put the buttons in the right color. You can do that by big and small. We're going to put buttons in one and spoons in another. So here's some nice ideas. That first link has actually lots of different ideas for sorting, so it's a great resource. Most of them use shoe boxes. And then Pinterest is an amazing resource, but don't let it get too overwhelming for you. But this Pinterest link especially has lots of sorting ideas within it. And then building. So the first skill in building is actually taking apart. So if you have any Legos, you can put them together and then have your child take them apart. And it's lots of fun. And then putting together is a secondary skill after you've mastered taking apart. Simple puzzles that have holes become a great first learning for building, so it fits in. If you, like me, are ordering things off the internet right now, you probably have some spare boxes at your house. So those can be early building skills. They're big, they're easy for kids to put on top. And then that expands into blocks. So big blocks, small blocks, we're going to use those to build a tower or a house. Magnet tiles are also a great option if you have them at your house already. They're definitely a favorite at ours. and they nicely stick together, so they're a little bit easier to build with. And then Legos are a great option as well. So I've included some examples for building with Legos. These are, pictures of very simple buildings with Legos, and your child can imitate the picture. You can also do this yourself, though. So you could build like 3 blocks together and say, "You do it. You build like mine." And then let's talk about pretend play. So pretend play starts with yourself. So I'm going to pretend to feed myself. I'm going to pretend to do the doctor's kit with myself, and then expands into others. So I'm going to feed mommy. I'm going to use the doctor kit to check out mommy. And then dolls and figures. So I'm going to do it to the doll. Dramatic play is an expansion of that. So I'm going to be a superhero and I'm going to fly through the house. And then finally, scene. So I'm going to act out Frozen 2 and use my pretend play skills to do that. So here's some links for pretend play. That first link are some includes some play scripts, so doctor's kit, tea party, those types of things. I've also included some examples of that for you that Jane is going to attach. And then Considerate Classroom is a blog spot that also has some pretend play ideas, like some centers that you could set up in your home, like a kitchen or a grocery store. And then, more fun, loosely based pretend play. Let's build a fort and lay in the fort and read books. Let's play dress up, or let's act out our favorite movie. All right. So that's it for the play skills for today. I hope that you're able to have lots of fun with your child and start building those play skills. If you have questions, please feel free to post them below and we'll get back to you with answers. And I hope you have lots of fun. All right. Thanks for joining us today.